America is the land of the free. In 1787, our founding fathers drew up our country's constitution, for which they declared, in the First Amendment, that every American was given the right to have freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of religion, right to assembly, and a right to petition. But as cases like Tinker v. Des Moines and Morse v. Frederick have proven, the First Amendment gets tricky when it comes to underage students in schools. But do students have the same freedom of speech rights as adults?
As citizens of the United States, they have First Amendment protections, but of course as minors, they don't have the sort of full rights that an adult has.
In the case of free speech, for example, which essentially allows someone to stand up whenever they want to, if you have a pure interpretation of free speech, stand up whenever they want to in the classroom and disrupt it because that is their right. It takes away from the ability of others to learn.
You can't stand up in the auditorium and yell fire because it would create an awful disruption.
But who decides if this is the case?
The courts in particular, and it's the court's job, top to bottom, Supreme Court on down, to interpret the rights that are enumerated in our Constitution.
There are Supreme Court opinions that say very clearly that there can be restrictions on freedom of expression for students while they're in school.
The Tinker decision, which was so important in 1969, where the Supreme Court upheld the right of students to wear black armbands to school in protest of the Vietnam War, is a major First Amendment decision holding that people have a right not just to speech in the sense of verbal speech, but symbolic speech.
The Supreme Court supported the students, reasoning that their protests were not disruptive and were merely supporting simple political views, in this case, criticisms of the Vietnam War.
I think the Supreme Court being the ultimate providers of judgment to American society, which of course changes every decade or century, I think they're great examples in terms of showing good judgment versus bad judgment.
However, the court has not always applied the Tinker decision to subsequent cases involving student First Amendment rights, such as the case of Morse v. Frederick in 2007.
This week, the Supreme Court took up a case that centers around the phrase "bong hits for Jesus." What's this case about?
The case involved a high school student in Juneau, Alaska, who, during an Olympic torch relay passing by his school in 2002, held up a banner across the street from the school that said, "Bong hits for Jesus." His school principal saw that, crossed the street and made him take it down, and ultimately he was suspended from school for 10 days for that.
In this instance, the court ruled in favor of the school, claiming that the student was protesting in a distracting manner and was purposely making incendiary comments solely to spark controversy.
Involved actually holding up a banner which was interpreted to advocate illegal drug use. And the Supreme Court said that the school has an interest in preventing illegal drug use. And the Supreme Court said that in that case, holding up that banner was in connection with a school activity.
But now, a new wave of First Amendment debate has started because of the increasing popularity of technology and the internet.
They can't use our equipment to post things on Facebook or YouTube that would be damaging to another student. We have more trouble controlling that when it takes place outside of the school because we don't really have much jurisdiction there.
As an administrator, how much can I do? What rights do I have? So I use it as my litmus test is it affecting what's going on in school? So if the other students in school and they're afraid then of what's happening, then yes, I do step in.
In March of 2010, Phoebe Prince, a 15-year-old Irish immigrant, killed herself after being harassed online. Her classmates tormented her on Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, and other social networking sites. Her story has become a symbol of cyberbullying and has been cited by some as an example of where the line is drawn between the First Amendment and bullying.
I would be less concerned about Facebook and Twitter and what a student might do and how that might impact learning than I would be with, clearly and blatantly illegal or dangerous behavior. If a school learns that one of its students is habitually violent, they obviously have not just a right, but a responsibility to act.
One case similar to that of Phoebe Prince is that of Tyler Clementi, a student at Rutgers University. He was harassed online to the point of being driven to suicide. His death sparked a bill that would require all universities to act against comments made online that would be considered objectively offensive. However, some believe that this act would violate the First Amendment, and that students wouldn't be allowed to express any ideas considered offensive by anyone.
I think that the school should step in or just some kind of administration, because there needs to be some kind of line there where that has to be drawn.
If they're just criticizing someone, not slanderous, should be fine.
If someone's being attacked online, you'd want someone to stop it.
Nobody should have to feel like they're being hurt in a way that they need help.
It's the student's job to go to a guidance counselor, go to a teacher, anyone that they want to talk to if they have a problem with something that's going on online.
I believe the school also should, in some cases, should notify the police if it does get serious enough. Under worst cases, even under simple ones, to stop it from accelerating too far.
If a kid is being cyberbullied, then I believe that a joint effort by both the school, especially if the cyberbully, is a student at the school, and the police would be required.
Well, I think there need to be some rules made. People who choose to attend school thus are making this choice and are making the choice to go along with what the school believes in. So by doing this, they, in a way, give over some rights to the school and have to hope that the school will do what is best with those rights.
Freedom of speech is one of the most essential rights that are given to U.S. citizens today.
It's an American value, and to deny them of that at an early age would not be teaching them the correct values of what this country stands for.
How do you have a democracy in which the individual citizens are denied the free expression of their ideas? So why is the First Amendment so important? I don't know that you have a democratic republic without it.
But it is, at the end of the day, and this is what I want to stress to you, a judgment that has to be made case by case as to what the facts are, what kind of expression is involved, and what the effect is.